Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
Playing these games and watching my kids play was like the greatest thing.
And that is former NBA star Tracy McGrady struggling through tears as he remembers his friend Kobe Bryant. Bryant, of course, died Sunday after his helicopter crashed in Calabasas. His daughter and 7 others on board also died in the crash.
The NTSB is still early in its investigation as it tries to figure out why the helicopter crashed. Meantime, the tributes are pouring in. ABC's Elena Gomez leads our team coverage from Los Angeles with how the fans are remembering Bryant. Elena.
Stephen, Kim, it has been nonstop here in Los Angeles at the Staples Center, the home of where Kobe Bryant was a Laker for many years. Fans have been coming here, they've been placing candles, and they've been standing there also just having a moment of reflection.
Today, Kobe Bryant is being remembered by fans.
It's painful. We really lost somebody legendary today.
And friends as a man respected well beyond the game.
His evolution as a husband and as a father and as a man that wanted to impact the community beyond basketball.
Meanwhile, investigators are working to figure out what caused the helicopter crash, killing Kobe Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter, and 7 others on board. Matt Mauser heartbroken over the loss of his wife, Christina, also on board that helicopter.
She could really read people, and she was deep. She was very warm, kind.
The group was headed to Bryant's daughter Gianna's basketball game, leaving Orange County just after 9 in the morning. It was expected to be a quick trip, but around 9:45, the helicopter crashed in Calabasas, just north of Los Angeles.
Visibility 2.5 miles with haze, ceiling 1,100 overcast, temperature 122.8.
Fog was so heavy that Los Angeles police grounded their helicopters. Officials say it's still unclear if the weather played a role in this crash. Today, the reality setting in, the shock lingering, fans remembering Bryant's drive and the way he inspired people across the country.
If you just love basketball and respected hard work and someone that had drive, then you loved Kobe.
The NTSB plans to be at that crash site for 5 days. We also know that the debris is spread over a wide area, about 500 to 600 feet. In Los Angeles, Elena Gomez, 10 News. Steve, Kim?
So many people grieving there. Thank you, Elena. And while there are many great stories of Kobe Bryant as a player, fewer got to know him as a person.
Our 10 News reporter Jeff Lasky tracked down a longtime member of the Lakers broadcast team who says that Kobe never treated people like he was a star.
He touched so many people, millions of people. He was a global icon and just one of a kind. And
like many people, Jeff Biggs is mourning the death of Kobe Bryant. But unlike most, Biggs got to know him. As host of the Lakers pre- and post-game shows, Biggs traveled with the team and saw how Bryant treated the people around him.
Everybody felt like they had a connection with him because he always made time. He didn't big-time people. He always made time. Every single day, people wanted a piece of him, and yet he still found time and still did the things he needed to do.
Shortly after Biggs became a dad, he remembers Kobe stopping his practice to come over and see pictures of the new baby. And once Kobe became a parent, they had something in common.
When there were those moments when he didn't want to talk about basketball, that was for me, that was the bond, that was the connection. Being a parent, being a dad, having daughters.
Biggs points out that side of Kobe never changed, even through the ups and downs of Bryant's career.
Majority of his career, he was a divisive figure. I mean, he was the best, but it wasn't a love fest.
But Biggs thinks Bryant matured after becoming a parent, making peace with who he was and his reputation, and growing into a role as basketball elder statesman.
I think Kobe just touched so many different people in so many different ways. And the tragedy is that he wasn't finished. I mean, he was only 41, and he was just kind of getting started for this second half of his life.
It looked like a second half dedicated not to himself, but to his family and to inspiring those around them. Jeff Lasky, 10 News.
Kobe was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets right out of high school, then immediately traded to the Lakers, with whom he won 5 NBA championships during his career. We put together a timeline of his life and his career. You can find it on the homepage of 10news.com. And just ahead on World News Tonight with David Muir, Kobe Bryant, in his own words, how the NBA legend wanted to be remembered. Also tonight, back here at home, crews have rescued a man who fell from a trail at Black's Beach and injured his legs. The rescue team had to hike in and brace the man's leg before he could be lifted out. In just the last 30 minutes, a helicopter flew over. The man was placed securely at the end of the tether and then lifted to safety.
The man who attacked homeless people in downtown San Diego, killing 4, will spend the rest of his life in prison. John Guerrero suddenly pleaded guilty to the attacks today. 15 felonies in all, including murder and arson. Guerrero had been deemed competent to stand trial before today's guilty plea. During a court appearance in November, 10 News spoke with Guerrero's last victim, who was beaten while he slept under an overpass.
Between 4:30 and 5:30 in the morning. All I remember was all of a sudden I started getting smashed in the face, had a fractured jaw, fractured upper nose, had to rebuild my eyes and everything.
Well, that attack led to Guerrero's arrest. Guerrero killed 3 homeless men and an elderly woman walking to a bus stop in 2016. 9 other people were also attacked. He could get 4 consecutive life sentences when he is sentenced in May.
San Diego police have identified the officers and the suspect involved in a shooting last week. The shooting happened in Oak Park Friday afternoon. Police say that a man identified as Toby Diller got into a confrontation with 2 officers who tried to stop him. Well, that led to a chase where the officers say that Diller managed to grab at the holster holding one of their guns. That's when the other officer shot Diller, and he died right there on the scene. The officer who fired his gun has been with the department for more than 2 years, the other more than 5 years.
Well, there are renewed calls to hear from witnesses in President Trump's impeachment trial following a New York Times report on a book written by former National Security Advisor John Bolton. The Times reports that in his book, Bolton said the president wanted to continue withholding military aid to Ukraine until it opened investigations into Joe Biden and his son. Democratic senators and some Republicans such as Mitt Romney say it strengthens the case to call witnesses. Other Republican senators don't agree. President Trump denies ever saying anything to John Bolton about Ukraine or aid.
China says 106 people have now died from the coronavirus. In the meantime, the health department is monitoring 1 potential case of the virus here in San Diego. The county confirmed today that 1 person in the hospital is waiting for test results, which could be confirmed as early as tomorrow. Health officials did not say which hospital that person is in or release any other details about the patient.
We would really hone in on where has that person traveled in San Diego. We know where they've traveled from Wuhan.
The CDC has already tested for 110 potential cases of the new version of the coronavirus in the U.S. It has confirmed 5, including a person in Orange County. Symptoms of that virus, they do include fever, cough, and difficulty breathing.
Border Patrol agents arrested 2 men for smuggling people across the border in the East County this weekend. Agents say they first spotted a pickup truck just north of the border in Campo on Saturday, discovering 6 people hiding inside. They also found a U.S. citizen nearby who told them the truck was his. Then agents spotted an SUV parked nearby with more people hiding inside. Agents arrested both smugglers and took 11 undocumented migrants into custody.
As more illegal pot shops spring up in Chula Vista, the city is now fighting back, hiring more police officers specifically for drug enforcement. In fact, the UT reports the city council plans to hire 4 more officers. That includes a school resource officer to lead anti-drug education. Last year, the city also hired an attorney whose sole job it was to prosecute illegal pot shops. Right now, there are 17 illegal dispensaries open in Chula Vista. More than 36 illegal shops have been shut down since 2014. 10 News has covered the police department's efforts to close many of those shops, including a raid last September.
A La Jolla bookstore is no longer hosting an author whose new book has inflamed the online community. Warwick's announced on its website the publisher of American Dirt canceled tonight's signing and discussion with Janine Cummins. Well, the book tells the story of a Mexican woman who leaves behind her life in Mexico and flees to the U.S. with her son. Cummins, who is white, has come under fire from people who accuse her of stereotyping Mexicans. The La Jolla event is the latest cancellation as the book's publisher deals with the blowback.
MTS is boosting service on the Trolley Blue Line by dozens of trips, especially on weekends. The transit system says that decreasing the amount of time between stops is to accommodate the 3 million more riders it has in the past year since 2014. MTS says demand for transit has been at its highest in areas served by that blue line, which runs from the border in San Ysidro to downtown.
Every day, tens of thousands of riders from surrounding communities on both sides of our border move through this transit center and connect with the blue line to make it to school, to work, to a medical appointment, to the things that connect their lives, to get people from where they are to where they want to be and back.
Time between those stops on the blue line could drop as low as 7.5 minutes on weekdays, 15 minutes on the weekend.